What I'm going to do now is to show you some basic formulas you can compute using Microsoft Excel. We're going to go through mean, median, standard deviation, percentiles, and percentile ranks. I've taken a standard template here with some data in it, and we'll go through the process for calculating those pieces of information. Let's start with mean. So here we have math computation scores that were done using Fuchs and Fuchs. This column under spring would be the scores that they got on that assessment. So what we'll do is to calculate, let's start with the median. To calculate the median, you click into the box where you want the score to show up. You go up to the top, click on Formulas, Insert Function, type in the function you want, so in this case it's median, hit Go, select the highlighted median function and hit OK. Click on this box right here and find the range of scores that you want to compute. So we'll start with this score and then drag down to highlight all the scores you want to use to compute the median. So we end with that box there, hit enter, hit OK, and the median score is put in that box. We can do the same thing for average, but choose a different function. So I'll click in the box that I want to put the average, insert function, type in average, hit go. It's highlighted, so then we hit OK. Click on this box here again and highlight the scores again that we want to use to compute the average or the mean. Hit enter, hit OK, and it puts the average in there. Now if we don't want a lot of decimal points, we can go to the box with the score, right click, choose Format Cells, click on the Number tab, click Number, and let's say for this case we just want one decimal place. So we click down to 1 and hit OK. And there's our average score. Standard deviation again is very similar. So you click on the box where you want the standard deviation, go to Insert Function, and again, just to remind you, this is under the Formulas tab, so make sure that that is clicked on. Hit Insert Function, type in STDEV, and hit Enter. Choose that function and hit OK. Click on that box. And again, just as you did with median and average, select all the scores that you want to use to calculate the standard deviation. Hit enter and hit OK. And now we have our standard deviation score down here. Again, I want to have it just to have one decimal place, so we right click, Format Cells, click on the Number tab, click on Number, and put one decimal place and hit OK. So now we have computed for this set of scores the median, the average, and the standard deviation. Now you can use that information if you're trying to calculate discrepancy and uniqueness using a set of scores that your school may have or local norms. So calculating the average and standard deviation, you can determine if your target student falls within that average range. Now let's say we want to figure out, based on this set of scores right here, this whole set under spring, what percentile ranges there are. So we start by clicking in, I've created a percentile column based on the scores of the students in this building. I click on that box, I go to Insert Function, I type in percentile rank, and that one didn't show up, so let's try typing in percent rank, and that shows up. So when I click on that and hit OK, the first one asks for the array. So what's the set of data you want to pull from? So I click on that box and again highlight the full set of data. Hit this box again and then go and we want to find the specific score that we want to calculate the percentile rank for. So if I can either enter the score or I can click on this box and find it within the distribution. So this first score is score of 4. I click on that, I push that box again, hit OK, and since that's the lowest score, it shows up as a 0 percentile. Now a quick way to do this from here on out for all of these scores is to go back up to this box and look up at the formula within this formula bar. What you want to do is you want to stabilize the array of scores, which would be that set B3 to B60, because we want that array to stay the same no matter which score we're trying to calculate. What we want to change is this B3, because we want it to be based on each score. So this first box, it's based on the B3 to B60 data and the individual score of B3. So each time we want it to still be B3 to B60, but change the actual individual score. So to do that, you put dollar signs in front of the letters and the numbers of the cells you want to stabilize. So I put a dollar sign in front of the B and the 3, and then the next B and the 60. So those cells will all stay stable and the B3 one will change. And then also to change it to an actual percentile, we're going to multiply it by 100. So times 100. I'll hit enter, and then I'll go back up to that box and I'll go to this little square in the bottom right corner. And I'll left click and hold and then drag down to all of these boxes. And then let go, and your percentile ranks have all been computed for each individual score. Okay, and the final step is, let's say you just want to determine what the 25th percentile and the 75th percentile are for a set of scores. So I'll add another row here to determine that. So let's put 25th percentile and 75th percentile. Now to caution again, when you're choosing percentile ranks, you want to make sure that you have a pretty close to a bell curve distribution of scores. If it's a mastery-based assessment where it's really heavy loaded on the top end of the scores, you're not going to get a very good range of percentiles. So you really want to look for that set of data. So for this one, it's pretty much centered around the middle of the distribution of scores, so we can comfortably calculate percentiles. So let's say we want to calculate 25th percentile. Again, you're going to go to the Formula tab, click Insert Function, and type in percentile. Choose the highlighted one, hit OK. We're going to go to the array, which again, like I've said before, is this whole column of distribution of scores. Hit this box, and then in K, that's going to be the value that you want it to output. So if you want the 25th percentile, it's a range of 0 through 1. So put 0.25 and hit OK. And it calculates 14.3. So that's the 25th percentile. To do the 75th percentile, you're going to do the same process. You're going to choose percentile, hit OK, get that array of data, hit the box, and then in K for the 75th percentile, it's 0.75, and hit OK. So this is saying that the range of 25th to 75th percentile is 14.3 to 31.75. You can do this for any percentile. If you want the 30th, the 40th, you just enter it as a decimal between 0 and 1, and it'll give you the cutoff score for that percentile. So that was just a basic introduction of formulas you can use within Microsoft Excel that can help you determine discrepancy and uniqueness during the child find process or during the RTI process as well.